Alan is the first featured S-rank agent being released in Zenless Zone Zero and is not only highly anticipated, but also very strong. We will cover her kit and how to maximize her damage potential, her best distress sets and stats, talk about her teams and her talents, and have a look at her pros and cons. Welcome, I am Rivenous, and let's talk Alan Joe. Short disclaimer, due to the game having just been released, there will likely be changes to the meta and how the game is played. Any advice this early on has to be taken with a grain of salt, however, I am still very confident in my calculations and they will definitely provide you with a good guideline. So let's start with her kit. Alan Joe is an ice attack type agent whose playstyle is centered around obtaining and spending flash freeze charges, a resource which is unique to her. With 135 attack, she has the currently highest base attack in the game, only closely being followed by Sujuan and Nikomiya. The key to optimizing her damage output lies not only in her team, but also your understanding on the timings on when to use which skill, and to be able to understand that, we will first have to cover her kit. So let's quickly talk about it. We will start off with her dodge. That is because for some reason her resource Flash Freeze is part of her dodge skill. In any case, some of her skills will generate set Flash Freeze charges and Alan can hold up to 6 of them. If you have any Flash Freeze charges, Alan's weapon will start becoming frozen, which is the game's way of telling you that you are now in the Flash Freeze state. While you have any charges left, her basic and dash attacks will expand these charges to empower them. Alan has a very unique dash mechanic where you can hold or double press dodge to enter her roaming state. Not only does that look cool as hell, but it will also provide you with a brief invulnerability time frame. While in the state, pressing her basic attack will have her quickly swing her scissors, dealing some ice damage and restoring 1 flash freeze charge. If you hold the basic attack button instead, she will charge her scissors, dealing major ice damage and restore 3 flash freeze charges instead. After a perfect dodge, Alan will also gain the quick charge effect, which significantly reduces her charge time. Using her basic attack outside her flash freeze state is not recommended and will only deal some minor physical damage. This is the first way of gaining flash freeze charges, with the second being her EX special. So let's cover it. Alan's EX special can actually be cast twice in a row if you have sufficient energy, that is, whereas the second cast will be altered if it directly follows the first cast. Her first EX special, Tail Swipe, costs 40 energy, deals major ice damage and restores 1 flash freeze charge. After casting, you can also directly follow up with the third part of her basic attack or her altered EX special, Shark Nami, at least if you meet the ER requirements, which would be 80 in total. Shark Nami deals tremendous damage in a large AoE and restores 1 flash freeze charge as well. As we now already have mentioned her basic attacks, let's also quickly talk about them, and as I already mentioned earlier as well, while you kinda do not want to use her unempowered basic attacks, her enhanced ones are about 45% of all her damage dealt. You can also hold to the basic attack button during the third hit of her basic attack to extend its duration and hence inflict additional damage at the cost of being vulnerable and open to being attacked for longer. Aside from her scissor dash attack, she also has the usual dash attacks, which can be triggered by dodge into basic attack. Those will also be able to consume flash freeze charges, but they are not really good and hence both dash attacks are usually not worth using. Her dodge counter is a dodge counter and nothing special, but it is always good to use in the appropriate situation. By that I mean, use it after you dodged. For her ultimate and chain attack, they inflict massive damage and daze, and I highly recommend you to use them whenever available. Let's get to her core passive, as it will already give us a hint on how she is intended to be played. Whenever Alan launches a charged scissor attack or consumes a flash freeze charge with her basic attacks, the crit damage for said skill will increase by up to 100% depending on the level. Fortunately, Alan is absolutely overloaded with crit rate, and during calculations I had an actual really hard time keeping her below 100%, so this crit damage boost is highly appreciated. This core passive already tells us that we are supposed to charge up our flash freeze charges by casting our charge scissor and spending them using our basic attacks. For her additional ability, if you have another character in the squad that shares the same attribute or faction, whenever Ellen deals ice damage, and hint, she always does if played well, her ice damage increases by 3%, stacking up to 10 times for a total of 30% ice damage bonus. Last but not least, she has her reactive assist, defensive assist and assist follow-up. For her assist follow-up specifically, which can be cast by pressing the basic attack directly after a defensive or reactive assist, you can hold again the basic attack button to extend the duration and hence the damage dealt by it. That covers her kit in a quick overview, so let's talk about her talents. Our first talent is a really nice quality of life talent and allows you to quickly charge your flash freeze charges. While this will not necessarily bring an insane amount of damage, it is a very nice quality of life, at least outside of her burst. More on that a little bit later. Furthermore, every time you spend a flash freeze charge, you now gain a small amount of crit rate, which makes building her a little bit easier due to the less required crit rate substat rolls. Her second talent is the first one I want to mention as, well, kinda being worth it, not only for a nice little damage increase, but also because it changes her actual rotation and makes her way more fun to play. Or at least that is my opinion. It also provides her enhanced basic 3s some crit damage, which is nice as well. However, please do not feel forced to spend money on this. Her talent 3 and 5 both provide +2 skill levels for her basic, dodge, special and chain attack and result in an increase of around 5% for both. Her talent 4 we do not mention because it simply isn't worth it. You don't need the energy and gaining even more flash freeze charges works kinda against you since you now are already overcapped anyway. If you have a lot of money to spend and want to support this small indie company or simply are very lucky, her 6th talent is really good. It will provide you with 20% pen ratio on basically a permanent uptime and also makes your charge scissor attacks a really good burst. It will by far grant you the most damage out of all her talents, but again, her overall gain in talents is not as significant as you may think. For her skill priority, having a look at her damage distribution, we want to focus our resources first on her basics, into ultimate, into her special, into chain. Her core skill should always be leveled as it simply passively increases your damage. When looking at her weapons, her signature Deep Sea Visitor is her best in slot, followed by Soldier 11's weapon Brimstone. Her best free-to-play choice is the Starlight Engine. If you plan on also getting Suyuan, her weapon Riot Suppressor is not the best choice, but it could be used on both even if you have to give up some damage on Ellen for that. For her disk drive sets, funnily enough, her best in slot set is actually a 4-piece Puffer Electro paired with a 2-piece Polar set. However, all these combinations are close to each other and going for one or another will not change your damage output that drastically, so do whatever units you have on your account and what you can mix match nicely. It should also be mentioned that it is not very easy to keep 100% and guaranteed full uptime on the 4-piece effects for Hormone Punk, Puffer Electro and Woodpecker, and depending on your skill you might want to go with a safe choice, that being the classic 4-piece Polar set paired with a 2-piece Woodpecker. Talking about the disk drives already, for the main stats you are mainly looking for crit damage on slot 4, however going for crit rate is fine as well, especially if you do not have her signature weapon or any weapon which provides crit rate for that matter. For slot 5, both pen ratio and ice damage percent are good choices, with pen ratio coming out just slightly ahead. For slot 6, the best and honestly only real choice is attack percent. Let's quickly cover her best teams so we can better understand how to play her. Lycaon and Sokaku make up as her best pairings. However, if you do not have Lycaon, Rina is another possible option for a disorder team, although not optimal. If you have neither Lycaon nor Rina, your team will look honestly pretty pale in comparison, but filling up the second slot with another stun unit such as Koleda or Anbi is probably your best choice here. For the Bangboo, Sharkboo is the best choice, however, especially this early into the game, most Bangboos will do a good job. Penguin Boo is the best free-to-play replacement, but other S-rank Bangboos such as Butler would work as well. Basically, try to make the passives work out. That being said, let's talk about her rotation. Well, sort of. It is really hard to provide a set in stone rotation for this game, but basically you want to spend most of your time on your other 2 units trying to build up anomaly, maintaining your buffs, and filling up the enemy's daze bar as fast as possible, as the stun multiplier provided will significantly increase all damage dealt. While the enemy is not stunned, try to get in at least 2 fully charged scissor attacks and get to 6 stacks, but at least 3 of those flash freeze charges. When the enemy is at around 98% daze, switch into Ellen and stun the enemy, and now we can actually start with her rotation. We start off with the team's chain attacks, then into her ultimate if ready. After that we want to spend our flash freeze charges finally, and continue with 3 enhanced basics into double EX special cast, that being Tail Swipe and Sharknami. Follow said Sharknami again with an enhanced basic 3 and finish the rotation with 3 more enhanced basics. If your Ellen is talent 2, we want to adjust our rotation accordingly, and while we will start with the chain attack into ultimate just as before, we now follow with a Swift Scissor into her EX Special Tail Swipe into Enhanced Basic 3 into EX Special Sharknami into Enhanced Basic 3 into Sharknami yet again another Basic Enhanced 3. Basically, we start weaving our EX Specials and Enhanced Basics, which is like really fun to play it, right? Like it reminds me of Riven. However, let that not be a reason for you to spend money on said talent. Ellen is a great unit without it as well, and still very fun to play. To end the video, for the pros she does a shitload of damage and is a shark mate. For her cons, she is the first DPS and hence likely to be power crept. On a serious note though, she is highly reliant on other S-rank units such as Lycaon, and honestly especially Lycaon. No Lycaon means a lot less damage due to him not only providing massive daze and stuns, but also a 25% increased ice damage bonus. Also, she doesn't really have the best free-to-play weapon choices, so there is that as well. That all being said, I hope this has been helpful. Leave a like and subscribe for more Zenless Zone Zero content coming up, and have a great day. Peace.